Saturday into Sunday. I would have liked to have done a video on it yesterday, but I did the football one. The manager's been sacked. Because it was quite a busy weekend for the football, wasn't it? With Daniel Farke being sacked, as well as Dean Smith. So I thought I'd do the UFC today. What a show. Let's just start off by saying, what a show. I don't know if you're a fan of the UFC. Maybe you've never watched a single fight in your life. That's fine. Maybe you're just here for this, the ramble. That's cool as well. But if there's only one fight you should watch, what you need to watch to get into the UFC, I'll tell you all about it in a minute. You can check it out on YouTube. The highlights will be on there. And I guarantee after watching that, you'll either love it or you'll be even more against it. Anyways, so let's wind back my weekend and how I nearly didn't get to see the show. So in the UK, shows that are on in America. This is on at the MSG, Madison Square Garden, so that's New York. So they're like 10 PM, I believe it's around about 6 AM, 5 AM, something or other. So when their fighters are just going out, like, say Tyson Fury's fighting in the UK in boxing, he'll fight about 10 o'clock, half 10. If he was fighting in America, their 10 o'clock would be like our early hours of the morning. So I was out on Saturday evening. I went to a bonfire and firework display with my wife and some friends. And the idea was go back, have a few beers, which we did. I was hoping to catch the main event when I got home here, but I didn't get in until about 3, half 3. I was absolutely knackered. The main event was on about 5, half 5 in the morning. So I set my TiVo box to record it. Shouldn't have been an issue. Next day, got up to watch it. I had the prelims recorded and whatnot. I sit down, see the prelims on there, but where the hell's UFC 268? I don't know if it's a technical glitch, if we had a short a power cut, I do not know, but the show didn't record. So all of Sunday I had to stay off Twitter, off YouTube. I didn't. Sky Sports is okay because they don't really cover it on the Sky Sports news app, not too much anyway. But the annoying thing is I had a bet on it, on the UFC. I had a bet on 4 different matches. So when I woke up and seen that I'd won the bet, my balance had gone up. I was like, oh, I guess all them fighters won then. But I didn't want to know how they'd won, so I couldn't go on Twitter or Instagram or YouTube for the whole day because it was repeated at 10 PM Sunday. So I recorded that and I watched it yesterday morning. I did watch the prelims on Sunday. I just had to wait for the main card till Monday. But it was worth the wait. Every fight, absolutely fantastic. Oh, I forgot there's a new Dan Brown show coming out. You know, Dan Brown did the Da Vinci Code. They've done a TV show. Okay. I don't think my wife will like that because it's not Tom Hanks. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, UFC. Well, let's get back to that. So yesterday morning I watched the main card. Let's go through it from the prelims, okay? So in the UK, I only got one, like 2 hours show of the prelims. I think there was like, you get the early prelims, and then you get the prelims, and then you get the main event, or main events, like the main card. Like the prelims in the WWE would be like the pre-show. It stands for preliminary fights, basically. there's a lad from Ireland who's big friends with Conor McGregor, and he was on the prelims. It was his debut. I was really looking forward to seeing this, and it wasn't on the one I recorded. It was on the one that wasn't recorded, and his name though is Ian Gary. So he's an Irish lad. He's tipped to be the new Conor McGregor, mainly because he's Irish, but also because he's very good and good talker as well. And he won his debut. I think he's up against somebody called, I think it's Jordan Williams. Was it Jordan Williams? And he knocked him out with a left hook. Knocked him out flush. So a really good stoppage. A great debut for the lad. I'm expecting big things from him. Ian Gary. You heard it here first, guys. They've probably heard it before. But you can check that on YouTube. All the matches I mentioned, you'll be able to get highlights on YouTube now. So that was like the prelims. But then there was another bloke. There were some great stoppages. Like, holy hell, stoppages. So, if you know about the UFC, and maybe you know about it a little bit, you may have heard of a bloke called Israel Adesanya, or as Ariel Helwani likes to say, Israel Adesanya. I can't really say it properly. He is Nigerian native, like he's from Nigeria. He moved to New Zealand when he was very young, and he now fights out in Nigeria, but he represents. So he fights out of New Zealand, but he represents Nigeria. You know, he flies their flag and stuff like that. He's very proud of his heritage. So Israel Adesanya, he used to be in kickboxing years ago, and he was very successful in kickboxing. He's the current, let me get this right, middleweight, I think it's middleweight in UFC champion. Light heavyweight is Glover, heavyweight is Ngannou. So yeah, he's a middleweight champion. And he's very successful. He's only lost one fight in the UFC, and he's quite successful as a kickboxer. But he did lose 2 fights, one of them by knockout and another, I think it was on points. Now the bloke who beat him in them 2 fights made his UFC debut on Saturday night. He's 34 years old, so not young to make your debut in the UFC. But his name is Alex Pereira. His name's Alex Pereira, but they say Alex Pereira. And yeah, he was up against this bloke, and he weren't having it easy at first. Pereira wasn't. You know, it's new to him. He's used to kickboxing rules, not used to being able to be wrestled to the ground. But he caught his opponent with a jumping knee, like a flying knee. Now imagine this is what a flying knee basically is. He stood on both feet and he jumped high enough that his knee cracked a grown man in the face. I mean, he must have jumped about 3 or 4 foot off the ground. I was like, what the hell? It was so impressive. I can't jump 2 inches off the ground, let alone 3 or 4 foot. He caught the man full on in the face with his flying knee, and the man just sparked out. He was just gone. He was not waking up anytime soon. It was a great debut. And this man, I mean, unfortunately for him, he doesn't speak very good English, so he needs a translator. Can sometimes affect fighters in the UFC in the respect that they can't get their point across to the fans. Fans sometimes get a bit frustrated waiting for the translator to translate what he's saying. But that is going to be a huge fight, because at the minute Israel Adesanya is going through everyone apart from Jan Blachowicz. But that was a different weight class. He actually went up to fight the light heavyweight champion, and the weight difference was a big thing, and he lost that fight on points. He wasn't stopped. But second time now, because there's nobody else to fight right now. So having this man who he lost twice to in kickboxing coming into the UFC, that is a big money fight. It won't happen right now. You might be waiting 18 months to see it, but that'll be a big fight if Pereira keeps winning and Izzy is still the champ. We will see that title fight, and that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, check out that knockout on YouTube as well. Alex Pereira, UFC 268. Then we had, I mean, gone off this off the top of my head. We'll go straight to the main card now. And like I said, if you're not a fan of the UFC or you've never watched it, check out this fight on YouTube. It was Justin Gaethje. His surname's a bit of a bugger to spell. I think it's Gaejjthje. That's off the top of my head, I'm probably wrong. But he was taking on a man called Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler is a former Bellator champion. He's in his third fight in the UFC. So here's what happened with Chandler, how he ended up in this fight. Comes into the UFC, he's a free agent, he's a big name in Bellator. Stepped into the UFC. Khabib, who used to be the, oh bloody hell, lightweight, I think it is that division, on crap divisions, the lightweight champion. He'd beaten everyone, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Conor McGregor. He had no one else to beat. He gave up his title and walked away, retired, or semi-retired, probably back at some point. And Michael Chandler came over to the UFC and he won his first fight against Dan Hooker. Now that's quite important because Dan Hooker took on Khabib's, like, this lad that he's trained up for a lot of years called Islam Makhachev. He's like the up and coming white warrior from Dagestan. I think it's Dagestan, which is where Khabib is from. Let me check if that's correct. Might not be Dagestan, but either way, Dagestan is a part of Russia. Let me just check this. Khabib. Place. I'll tell you right now. Okay, maybe not. If any of you can tell me where it is that he's from, that'd be great. I'm just trying to find out. I'm sure it's Dagestan. Right, here we go. He lives in a mountainside house far from civilization with views to die for. That sounds like him. He's got no internet and no... Oh, there you go. It is in Dagestan, where he lives now. That's just not where he's from. He was born somewhere else in Russia. So Islam Makhachev is his like protege, and he beat Dan Hooker recently. Choked him out. It was brutal. That was like last week, I think. And Dan Hooker was Michael Chandler's first opponent in the UFC, and everyone expected a tough fight for Chandler. He came in and he stopped Dan Hooker in the first round, just took him out. It was brutal. And yet Dustin Poirier, who's fighting for the title soon, I think he went 5 rounds with Dan Hooker or 3 rounds. Yet Chandler came in, stopped him straight away. That's a shame, Dan Hooker's a nice lad. So then we had Chandler in his second fight. Basically went straight for the title. Khabib walked away, there was a free title. He went up against Charles de Bronx Oliveira, who is the current champion. Chandler rocked him early on, should have finished him. Oliveira easily the best fight on the card, and this started off the main card. It was bloody brilliant. I loved watching that fight. Then we had, Justin Gaethje won that on points unanimously. It was obviously he'd won the fight, to be fair. Then we had Shane Burgos taking on Billy, I forget his surname now. I didn't watch that fight. I was too desperate to get to the other fights. I sort of wound through it. Shane Burgos won anyway. Then we had another brutal knockout, and it was Chito Vera against Frankie Edgar. Now Frankie Edgar's been around a long time, and maybe it's fair to say his time's done now. He's lost to a lot of people. Former champion, and he was winning this fight. To my surprise, he was beating Chito Vera, and then out of nowhere, I mean, there's this horrible picture of it in slow motion, but Chito Vera landed a front kick. So basically it's like me standing here facing you and kicking my foot straight up in the air, not to the side, not around, straight up to your chin there, and it caught him. And in this slow motion picture you see Frank Edgar's face just like squash, like his face went from being that length to like that. It was horrible to see. I cannot even imagine how his jaw feels today. I mean, there are ways to lose, and then there's that way. I'd rather be put to sleep than have that happen to me. Oh my god. So he won by a knockout anyway, or TKO, I think it'd be. Then we had Rose Namajunas, the current champion, taking on Zhang Weili, who was the former champion. Now in the original fight, the first fight, Rose came in as the challenger and knocked Zhang Weili out with a head kick, straight up, kicked her into next week. It was brutal. And that's like first round, everyone was like, oh, because Zhang had gone 5 rounds with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, since they say, this Polish lady, and beat the crap out of her. How the hell Joanna carried on going? She had a golf ball sized lump on her head. It was out of here. I was like, god damn, women can be tough. They really can be. Way tougher than men. So we had Zhang win the title that way, and then she lost it to Rose, and then we had Rose to defend the title in a rematch against Zhang Weili, and it went all 5 rounds, and I personally think Zhang won the rematch. I think she should have got a title. Very difficult to take a title off someone if it's a close fight. If there might only be like 1 point in it either way, it's rare they'll take a title off someone. And also with Rose being American and Zhang being Chinese, it being in New York, being a close fight, I don't think it was ever going to happen. If it'd been obvious, if Rose had got battered for 5 rounds, Zhang gets the title. But being so close, being like that, I don't think she was ever going to get the decision. A lot of people thought she should have done, but I didn't think she was going to. And the main event of UFC 268 was another rematch between Kamaru Usman, the lightweight, is he? I don't bloody know anymore what divisions. Welterweight. He's a welterweight champion. Let me see what title he bloody holds, rather than me guessing. Usman title. Come on. Okay, that does not help me at all. Welterweight, there we go. Welterweight champion Kamaru Usman, also fighting out of Nigeria. They've got 3 fighters who are all champions, Ngannou Adesanya, and Usman. They all fight out of Nigeria. It's crazy. Like they're all from there. I don't think Ngannou is Nigerian. I think he's from Cameroon. Let me find that out. Yeah, so Ngannou is from Cameroon. Usman is from Nigeria, as well as Adesanya. So it's Colby Covington, who just loves to wind people up. And he was up against Usman. And Usman had won the first fight. Convincingly, I thought. But the second fight was a lot closer. It could have easily gone to Covington towards the end, to Colby. He put on a great show. He really did. And Usman, I didn't think was as good as he was the last time. But he ended up winning the fight on points. I thought he might get a stoppage. But no. Colby looked really, really good. And now Usman is 15 fights, undefeated, still the welterweight champion. And he will probably be defending next time against a local lad to me, Leon Edwards from Birmingham, if Leon can beat Jorge Masvidal in December. So if he can beat Masvidal, he'll get the title shot, I reckon, against Usman, probably about March time next year, maybe April. So guys, my battery's about to go. I've got to go. Let me know your thoughts if you watched UFC 268. Let me know below.